Hey everybody, my name is Matt, and in this video I'm going to talk about how your Social Security benefit is calculated. I'm going to try to make it real simple for you, and I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why you should care about this actually. Some things that'll help you make some decisions as you go forward. In this video we're gonna talk about some math here, but don't get too scared off here. I'll try to keep it real simple for you. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 steps that Social Security takes to calculate your Social Security benefit. So the first step is what they call indexing. So what this means is that Social Security will look at all of the wages you had every year in your life. These are wages that you paid Social Security tax on, of course, which for most of us is all of our wages. What they're going to do is take a look at every year you worked and look at the total wage you had that year. And they're going to bring those dollars up to today's dollars so we get an even comparison. For example, if you worked back in the late 1970s, you probably remember that there was this thing called stagflation, and Jimmy Carter was in the White House with a sweater on talking about conserving and all that, and the interest rates were sky high. So if you bought a home back then, you were probably paying like 18% interest, which is just mind-blowing today. Cost of living was off the charts. So if you made like $10,000 in 1978, in today's dollars, Social Security would probably count that somewhere around $40,000 or maybe $50,000. Actually, worth quite a bit of money. So if you look at your Social Security statement, this is something you can get online through your My Social Security account, your My SSA account. You can see a list of all of your wages every year. Well, it doesn't really help you out a ton because, again, if you're comparing 1978 to today, it looks like you probably earn a lot more money today. When Social Security adjusts for inflation, it could even out a lot more than what you realize. So basically they're getting kind of a fair playing field here by bringing all of your wages up to today's dollars. Then step number 2 is Social Security takes the highest 35 years of your earnings. So the philosophy here is that most people are going to work from age 22 to age 62. That's a 40-year period. And they're going to give you 5 freebies, like 5 dropout years, 5 rough ones. And then they're going to take the highest 35 years of your earnings. And those are the 35 that they're going to use to calculate your benefit. So if you had some real stinkers, it's not that big of a deal as long as you had 35 good ones. Step number 3, they are going to figure out, based on those 35 years of earnings, what your average monthly wage was over those 35 years. So 35 years of earnings, they can divide that by 35, divide it by 12, whatever. We're going to get down to an average monthly wage. Notice that I'm not talking about them figuring out how much you paid in Social Security tax over time. That's not actually what they look at. They look at your average monthly wage, and that's because Social Security is a safety net. It's really designed to keep you off the street. It's not designed to be your sole source of retirement income, but it's designed to be a safety net there for you. So it's not a strict retirement program. They're actually looking at how much of your average monthly wage should we replace. So step 3 is to come up with that average monthly wage in today's dollars that you've earned over the course of your life. Step 4 is that they will use a replacement formula to figure out how much of your average wage they're going to pay you. So clearly they're not going to pay you the entire average monthly wage because Social Security is not designed to replace your monthly income. It's designed to replace a certain portion of your monthly income that's going to help you get by when you can't work, which in their terminology is old age. How do they do this? How do they come up with the replacement wage? Well, the main principle here is that the higher your average monthly wage, the lesser percentage you get from Social Security. Of course, on the flip side, the less you make, the less your average monthly wage was, the greater percentage you're going to receive from Social Security. Now, you might think that's not fair, but Social Security wasn't designed to be fair. It was designed to be a safety net. It's insurance against old age and retirement or disability or just inability to work is what it is. It's insurance against inability to work. So it is not designed to be a straight retirement program. No, it's not fair, but it's designed to be a safety net. So how do they do this replacement formula? Let me give you just a kind of a quick overview. I don't want to bog you down with a ton of details, but what they do is, let's say your average monthly wage was $7,000 a month. Approximately the first 1,000 of that, so that they'll actually take your average monthly wage and put it in 3 buckets. So $7,000 is your average monthly wage. The first 1,000 of that, you get approximately 90% back on that amount. Then the next 5,000 or so, you're gonna get about 32% back. The abouts are actually the 1,000 and the 5,000. Those aren't the exact numbers, but they're close enough. So of the 7,000, they're gonna say, okay, the first 1,000, you're gonna get 90% back on that. So that's about $900. Of the next $5,000, you're going to get 32% back on that amount. Okay, so that's a total of 6,000, and then we're left over with 1,000 because your monthly wage was $7,000. So of that final 1,000, your return on that is 15%. So, if you don't remember those numbers, don't get too worried about that. They call these bend points if you're looking it up. But essentially, the more money you make, the more the return on your average monthly wage starts to drop off from Social Security. And that's because they're saying, hey, you made a lot of money. You don't need it as much as some of the lower income people do. You probably have other retirement. You're still going to have a higher Social Security benefit than the lower income people. It's just not going to be percentage-wise as much of a replacement on your average monthly wage. Okay, so those are the 4 steps on how they figure your benefit. Now, let's talk about why you should care about this. But before I do, I just want to tell you, if you're getting some value out of this, if this is helping you out at all, please click the little thumbs up button there. That really helps me out. If you want more videos to show up on your feed, click the subscribe. And then there's a little bell there. If you click that, it'll ding you on your phone when I upload a new video. So if you want to stay in tune, click all those things there. It really helps me out. And if you do, I really, really do appreciate it. I'm just trying to help people out here have a good experience with Social Security. So spread the good word. Okay, why should you care about this replacement formula? Well, it can actually help you make a couple of decisions. So let me give you a couple of scenarios here. So the first scenario is you have less than 35 years of earnings. That means you have zeros dragging your benefit down. Because remember I said they use the highest 35 years of wages to figure your benefit amount. So that means if you only had like 25 years of earnings, you've got at least 10 years of zeros in there that are dragging your benefit down. So every year you work, you're eliminating a 0 year and replacing it with a wage year. So it helps you out quite a bit as you continue to work. So some people wonder, maybe they're full retirement age. They're kind of wondering if they should continue to work or just retire. They can click their Social Security. They're just kind of wondering if they should work or retire. And if they don't have 35 years of earnings, I tell them, hey, every year you replace a 0, it's really helping your benefit out quite a bit. And by quite a bit, look, Social Security uses 35 years, so we're dealing with a big time frame here. It's not like you get hundreds of dollars swings usually, okay? Like the average benefit's $1,300 a month. The maximum benefit's somewhere up around $3,000 a month. You're not getting like massive swings by working an extra year or two, but in Social Security terms, it could be a good $20 to $30 swing, which is a big deal for Social Security. The second scenario here is if you are married and your full benefit amount is less than half of your spouse's benefit amount, then the years aren't actually going to matter that much. So let's say this is a pretty common scenario here. You're a woman, you dropped out of the workforce for a while, you're raising kids and all that stuff. Let's say you have 20 years of earnings and your benefit's pretty low. You're going to be claiming a spousal benefit on your husband's record. Working those extra years to increase the number of years that Social Security has to compute your benefit isn't going to help you out that much. Social Security is going to pay you on your own record first, and then they're going to pay you benefits from your spouse's record. But as your own record goes up, the spouse amount is going to go down. So it actually kind of evens out. It's not something to worry about if you are a spouse and your benefit is less than half of your husband's. Okay, the third scenario here is you are a federal worker or a state or local government worker, and you're under a plan where you do not pay into Social Security. So you pay into their retirement program and you get a retirement from them, but you're not getting much Social Security. You might still have credits because you worked other jobs or something like that. That kind of throws a wrench into the whole plan, and it actually lowers your benefits significantly. So remember when I said that of the $7,000, the first 1,000 or so, you get about 90% back on your dollar or on your average wage. As a federal employee or a local government employee with what they call an uncovered pension, that means you're getting a pension from a place you didn't pay into Social Security while you worked there. If you get a pension like that, they slash that 90% down to 45%. So you actually lose a ton of money, oftentimes half or more of your benefit. Your monthly benefit is lost if you get a pension like that. So it's getting more rare that federal workers are under this, because starting in 1983, federal workers started paying into Social Security, but if you started before then, you could be under this situation. Or if you're like a teacher or a local government employee like state of California, Texas, Colorado, some states, they don't pay into Social Security. If you're one of them, that could really affect you quite a bit. It kind of throws that formula off quite a bit. Okay, fourth scenario in which you might care is, let's say you've got 35 years of good earnings, very good earnings, and you retire and you claim your Social Security benefit, and you're thinking, if I work a part-time job, am I going to help out my Social Security benefit? And the answer is probably not. Because if you have 35 pretty good years and then you go part-time, those part-time wages are not going to help your benefit at all unless they fall into the 35 highest years. Because if they fall into the highest 35 years, they'll bump out a lower year and then they'll help you out a little bit. Whoops, sorry about that. That's not a reason to keep working part-time. It's not going to help your Social Security out if you already have 35 decent years of earnings. So a lot of people, they say, well, what happens to the money? I'm still paying Social Security tax. Well, remember I said Social Security is not a retirement program strictly. It doesn't mean you get a return on every single dollar you pay into it. That money just goes to help other people out, essentially. Okay, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it helped you out. Please post questions in the comments. It helps me understand if I'm doing a good job teaching this, and helps me understand if there's other things I need to cover. Sometimes I'll try to respond, but I might not always be able to. I'm developing a program to help you walk you through the Social Security application and Medicare application process. So keep checking back on that, and I will see you next time. Thanks.